In this video, we're going to be talking about revision because it's been highly requested. So we're going to talk about what it is, what types of revision there are, and examples of revision. So stay tuned. Hey lovelies, welcome back to Manifestation Sisters community. If you're new here, we're your Manifestation Sisters. I'm Tia.
And I'm Leah.
And we're helping you master your mind to manifest your desires. Before we jump in, we've been mentioning that we have something very exciting launching. If you want to be on the wait list to know what it is and when it launches, you can sign up in the link in the description box below. As always, we have our one-to-one coaching packages to help you go to that next level and start being the version of you now. So if you're ready for that, the link is also in the description box below, and all of our other digital products. Let's jump in.
So we've had many people requesting us to do a revision video, and the reason why we haven't done a revision video because it's not something we usually use all of the time. There's certain ways I do revision, which I will explain in the video. So what is revision? So revision essentially is, I'm going to read it here because I've got some notes. Revise an event the way you wish it would have gone, then relive it in imagination in accordance with our desire until it feels real. Through this method, you can revise any unwanted event, and you will find that in the coming days and weeks, things will start to change for the better in accordance with your revision, meaning that you can really revise anything into the way you wish it would have gone. And there are many ways and examples of revision.
Yeah, so we know you guys love examples. So different types of revision are as follows. You can revise your day. You can revise your past. You can revise something in your 3D circumstance that you want to be a different way. You can revise grades. You can revise getting into a different type of university. You can revise on the spot. You can revise lost items. There are so many different examples and types of revision that you can essentially do. It doesn't matter what it is, because we get that question a lot. What if this happened? What if that happened? Can I revise it? It doesn't necessarily matter what. That's why we always say circumstances don't matter. In relation to revision, it's essentially you turning inward. And Neville says in the book, Awakened Imagination, chapter is the Prudential revision. And he says on the first page, one must start with oneself. It is one's attitude that must be changed. In other words, all revision is you turning inwards and changing your internal association to an event, a circumstance, or an outcome. We know that the past and the future doesn't necessarily exist because everything is existing now. It's a conception of past in our mind. It's a memory, our internal association with that specific event. So when you are revising whatever it is that you're revising, you're changing your internal association with that. You're essentially going within and changing your emotion, your thinking, your feeling state, and your memory to do with that certain outcome, to do with that certain event. Essentially, your perception is changing. And as you change, we know our 3D must change. Everything is a mirror to us. So if we're changing how we think and how we feel and perceive something internally, our 3D must change accordingly because it is not.
Yes, and I think revision can be really powerful. And for me, how I like to use revision is I've been playing with things lately where I've been revising my day, seeing it as how I wanted it to go. Say certain things within my day didn't unfold the way I wanted it, I would revise it. So I've been doing a little bit of like day revision, and I've been doing things like on the spot revision. So if something doesn't go the way I want it, I say on the spot, no, that's not what happened. This is exactly what happened. This is the way that it went. And it's amazing because something else will unfold differently from that. Like I had something with a family member where I was like, had a bit of an altercation. I didn't like how it went, and I was like, no, that's not how it went. No, this is how I'm treated. And literally a little while later, I got an apology. Like, you know what I mean? So I think when we decide what it is that we want and we say, no, this is the way it went, this is the way it goes for me, this is what happens in my reality, is you really commanding your power, you really being the creator of your reality and not allowing things to have power over you, and you taking your power back and you commanding how things are going to go for you, because we really are that powerful. We don't have to let everything have control of us, and not everything needs a reaction from us. So I think revision can be powerful in that way. And when it comes to like revising things from the past, I never really liked going back and revising my past because, to be fair, for me, I feel like it's made me the person I am today. But you know, you can go back and revise your past and revise certain events and things like that, so you can change the memory of it and you can change your physical association to it, so it doesn't have that much hold over you. You can do those things. Whereas I revise in a sense of something's always been a certain way, because they're the things that's always worked for me. I say I've always been loved, I've always been wanted, people have always shown up for me, whatever it is I want. I've always been worthy, I've always had great career success, I've always been successful when it comes to anything that I do. Whatever it is, I kind of revise in that way.
Exactly. So I know you guys always love our examples, and Leah just gave a great one. We're not the type of coaches that are going to sit there and be this only this way to revise. Like I said at the beginning, it's just you changing your internal attitudes to a memory and event and your association. So through the different methods that we've said of revision, whether you are claiming to be a certain way, whether you're going back and revising it in your mind and your imagination, through visualization or through affirming out loud, whatever way you do it, have fun with this. Have an experiment with yourself to see what you prefer, because that's the only way we have got to this place in knowing that I don't really want to go back and revise certain aspects of my past, but I know that everyone doesn't have that same perspective. They want to feel differently about certain things. So go within and do what feels best for you. Have an experiment of it. Manifesting the life you want is supposed to be a fun process, not supposed to feel like a chore. You don't need to do all these things. It's your choice, essentially. But another aspect of that is I always believe that we are always essentially revising our day, because our reality is always responding to us. And from another angle of this, when you essentially have a circumstance or a situation happen that may be unfavorable, your focus and your attention is also another aspect of revision. Like Leah said, she will decide things that have happened and claim her power. But so often than not, think about times in your life where certain situations happened, someone maybe said something to you, and you've come away from that circumstance and you're playing it over and over and over in your mind. They said this to me, I could have said that back. Who do they think they are? I just can't get over it. I'm so angry at this person. And internally, you're reliving from that emotional state and perpetuating that certain circumstance in your 3D. You have the power to revise that. You have the power to shift that. Whether that's through you doing any of these methods or deciding that something has been a certain way. We don't have to be a victim to our circumstances. And when certain things happen in our 3D, we want you to know that you can take your power back from that. There's a certain element of, instead of rehashing and reliving and going over and over that unfavorable circumstance, what would you rather experience? Who is the version of you that has what it is that you want? And know how to consciously turn inward and tap into that. That is also a form of revision. That is an aspect that I also like to do for myself of, yes, that has happened, but what is my truth now? Everyone always shows up for me this way. I am love. I am chosen. And it's an element of, this is my reality now, and this is what I'm claiming for myself, so everyone must respond accordingly.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's many types of revision examples. And I will say the last one that I wanted to mention was, we kind of gave some brief ways that we like to revise and kind of perspectives in that sense. But examples of revision, and Neville mentions in The Awakened Imagination in his Pruning Shears of Revision chapter, he talks about, say you received a letter of unwanted news, that you would essentially rewrite the letter in a way that you wish the news would have been. So you can see in your, say you've got this letter, you can literally physically rewrite this letter, or you can see it in imagination how you wanted the news to play out, basically. So then what happens from this is you're changing it in your mind, you're changing the memory and the association with it, and a bridge of events, things and series will unfold from you doing this imaginal activity, from you changing this memory, where you might get another letter that's like, sorry, that was the wrong letter, that wasn't the right news, or say you got a bad grade or something that you didn't want, or you didn't get the college that you wanted, or you got some bad news of like a condition or whatever. You can literally change that in your imagination, and then there will be an unfolding after that which will change based on the memory and the association and how you've seen it in imagination. That's how powerful we are. Like, it's so incredible. There are many stories in the Law of the Promise and the Power of Awareness all throughout this book, but there's so many stories of revision stories. So like, look at this information yourself, like research it yourself, read up it yourself, like understand the knowledge and how it's being interpreted yourself. Obviously we've been breaking it down for you in this video as well, but like we said, it's about practical application. It's about you obviously understanding this into yourself and also applying it.
Exactly, like Neville says, are you the hero or are you the doer of this information? Knowledge is power, but there comes a time when you have to consciously implement it. Like we say, you have to consciously be this version of you. If there's a circumstance or a situation that you want to revise, that's why you're likely watching this video. What can you do internally to change that association? What can you do internally to take your power back? As we've said, there's so many examples and stories of this in Neville's book. One that I really liked was the husband and his wife, and he lost his watch. Essentially, someone had robbed them. He didn't want that to be his truth. He didn't accept that as his truth in his 3D. He went in and internally revised it through putting his watch on each day, although the 3D circumstance he didn't have his watch. Certain bridge of events unfolded where someone tried to sell that watch. So it meant that because it had been flagged as stolen, it made his way back to him. Through him claiming the fact that he still had his watch, the bridge of events that unfolded in his 3D where he had his watch back. So there's so many different examples and there's so many different ways that you can do this. It doesn't matter the circumstance. It all comes from you taking your power and claiming your truth intent.
Yeah, and you know, one last thing we'll leave you with, Neville really believed in revision. Like, he would revise his day and he would say, if I could leave you with one method, it would be revision, because he believed it was the most powerful thing we could do by utilising our imagination, because that's what creates, right? But we're just so powerful, and like we said from this whole video, try it out for yourself. You don't need to do it, or try it out if you want to. What are ways that you might revise things? What are some stories you guys might have? Share them down in the comments, like inspire other people if you have amazing revision stories or know of other people that have revision stories. So yeah, we're going to end the video here. We hope you liked this video. Like we said at the start of the video, we do have something exciting launching very soon, which we can't wait to share with you. We also have our next level you want to our coaching, our digital products. Thank you for sharing, subscribing and commenting. It really means the world to us to have our community that is growing and sharing your journey and us sharing ours, and we will see you in the next video.